be talking about LSD. My name is Lisa, and I'll be talking to you about what LSD does to your brain and how does it communicate with it, and what part it affects your brain.
My name is Joey, and what I'm going to be talking about are the parts of the brain that LSD affects the most, and how it affects your behavior.
I'm Fernando, and I'm going to be talking about how LSD affects behavior based and of your brain, like how do you react to it, and also if it leads to an addiction.
So, we are gonna introduce you to what LSD looks like. So, LSD is a small white round pill. It looks like a candy. So, when you take the LSD, it transfers or it communicates a message to your brain. And we're gonna see in this video how does that happen? How does your brain receive the message from the LSD, and what part of your brain it's affected, and what are the effects of LSD?
Sanctus, Dominus Diablo 7, Sanctus Venarum, Sanctus Venarum, Aim Sanctus, Aim Sanctus, Tuisum Pari, Tuidis Terra Aum Sanctus.
Relax. Relax. You're gonna die. You're not. Maybe. Relax.
LSD affects your serotonin system, which is your nerve, which is right here. All of this that's in red, that's what LSD affects your brain, which is a big part. So now we're gonna go see how nerves communicate with each other. Now we're gonna see how your nerves communicate with each other. So when the LSD is consumed or is taken, the LSD sends a message and your nerve receives it. So first it goes to the dendrites, which is right here. So they receive the message, they travel through here, and this right here is your soma. The soma is the cell body. And the soma decides if message of the LSD is sent or not. But if it does decide to send the message, it will travel through this long tail right here. And this long tail is your axon. And this right here is your Milton sheet. So your Milton sheet makes the message of the LSD go faster. So once the message has gone through the axon, it goes to your telodendrites right here. And your telodendrites, they transmit the message of the LSD to your terminal buttons. And the terminal buttons, which is right here between your other cell, so now once your telodendrites, this right here, transmit the message of the LSD to your terminal buttons, which is this right here, this little circle right there, it talks to another transmitter button, which is right here. This is another good example. It looks like they are connected, but they're not. There's a little space right there called the synapse. And this right here is a close-up of what this looks like. So once the message is sent, it is sent as a neurotransmitter, which is the message of the LSD. So when the neurotransmitter is sent into a vesicle, which is this right here, a circle right here, and this circle is like a transport, like a car. And so the transport goes all the way to the wall, which is this right here, the wall of the terminal buttons. And it goes all the way over here, which it connects to the cell wall. And once it connects to the cell wall, the neurotransmitters, which is the messages of the LSD, goes into that little space right here, which is the synapse. And from there, it goes to receptor, which is like a little house for the neurotransmitters, which is the messages of the LSD. So the LSD messages, this right here, looks for a receptor, for a house to transmit, as we see right here. So it connects us to the house, and then that's how our brains, our nerve brains, receive messages, and then that's how the LSD takes effect on our brain. So from here, our brain makes us react funny. And
Hello class, my name is Joey Tanner, and today we'll be talking about what parts of the brain LSD mostly affects. By taking this drug, parts of your brain that are supposed to be turned off are actually turned on, and even though it does increase a lot of the brain's activity, there are parts of the brain that are actually more targeted than others. The temporal lobe, which is responsible for processing memory and integrating them with the five senses, is greatly affected. Another part of the brain that LSD affects is the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is responsible for receiving signals from your eyes and sending them to your brain in a way that it can understand. Here we have a picture of people that think they had the drug LSD and people that actually did have the drug LSD. As you can see here, LSD, it starts here, and most of the brain's activity actually does go up with the people that have taken LSD. People that have not taken LSD, the brain's activity is not really going up that much. But with this, you can see parts of the brain that aren't on, usually, LSD turns it on.
Alright, so I'm going to be talking about the behavioral base of what LSD does to you, and I'm going to talk about how it leads to an addiction. Now, what is overall result on behavior based on parts of the brain identified above, and how does this lead to an addiction? Well, what can you expect when you're on LSD is when people are under the influence of LSD, you can expect things like high blood pressure, pupils dilating, increase in temperature, and nausea. Also things like goosebumps and jaw clenching. And some of the psychological effects I'm going to be getting into. And the most common psychological effect of LSD are visual hallucinations and illusions, which are known as like trips, which depends on how much is used and how the brain responds to it. Negative experience, referred to as bad trips, produce intense negative emotions such as irritation, fears, and anxiety. Also, they have panic attacks, paranoia, rapid mood swings. Good trips are stimulating and pleasurable, and typically involve feeling as if one is floating, disconnected from reality, and feelings of joy. So you can also have good trips and you can also have bad trips, depending how your mindset is. Now, what I mean by delusion, in case some of you guys don't know what that means, delusion is people who have it or who are going through it, they basically can't tell what's real from what is imagined. And also, in case you don't know what visual hallucinations, it's basically when you see things that aren't there. So they're not real, you're just seeing it. So these are some of the things you will see if you're on LSD. There's also things like panic attacks. You can also get panic attacks. Fear of losing control. Also flashbacks. You can get flashbacks while you're on LSD. And severe depression of psychosis. Now, people might also say you get terrifying thoughts and feelings. Sometimes you don't always get that positive mindset. So sometimes you will have the negative trips, and that's what you will have. You know, you'll think of terrible things, you'll think of suicide, things like that. And now, is LSD, does it lead to an addiction? Well, LSD is not considered to be addictive, nor does it cause a compulsive use. So LSD is not addictive. But users can develop tolerance and psychological dependency on that, which may require professional help. However, people who use LSD often rapidly develop tolerance. What I mean by that is each time they use it, they must take more than what they originally took before, just so they can get that same effect of LSD when they first tried it. So every time they try LSD, they're not going to use the same dose that they used the very first time. They have to keep building up that tolerance, and they're going to keep using more than what they used before. So even though LSD is not physically addictive, it can be psychologically addictive, if that makes any sense. And I have a short 1-minute video of what it looks like if you were to be on LSD. And here it is.